George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation. We are pleased to be joined by candidate for City Court Judge, Staci
Yes.
Dennis-Taylor. However, we all know her as Staci Dennis-Taylor.
That's right. That's right.
But I just wanted to say her name because nobody says it. So
that's right. No one ever calls me that, not even my mom. So
there you go. I just wanted to do that one time. So Staci, you're running for City Court Judge, and tell us about the open seat and why you're looking to become a City Court Judge and your current work that you do.
I will. So yes, I'm running for City Court Judge. I want everyone to know there are 2 open seats. My mentor, Judge Vanessa Bogan, after a wonderful career, is retiring. And so I am technically running for her seat. The other open seat is Judge Ross Andrews, who's currently sitting now. And so he's running for his own. We're both technically unopposed, but I'm still going to keep asking for everybody's vote.
Because you just want to see that, people actually want to see you in that seat, right?
I want people to intentionally choose Staci Dennis-Taylor as one of their City Court judges. Yes.
Now, so and could you have been appointed if this had happened at a different point, right?
Yes, and
then you would still have to run anyway.
Exactly. Which the other judges have gone through that, yes, but the way that the timing fell, I got on the ballot on the Democratic line.
Look at you, look at you. So let's talk about your background. Let's go all the way back. Let's dial it back. You're born and raised in Syracuse. Talk to me.
Okay. Whew. Born and raised in Syracuse. I attended, shout out to Syracuse City School District. I went to Roberts. I'm only laughing because back in the day we used to get made fun of for that, but I'm proud. I went to Roberts K through 8.
Wait, you used to get made fun of because you went to Roberts?
Yes, because there weren't a lot of K through 8s back then. And so, other kids got to, in 6th grade, they went to Clary and other middle schools. We didn't. We stayed with the same kids all 8-9 years, which is a blessing. And I'm still close with a lot of them. And then after that, I went straight to Corcoran. I'm a Cougar, and my husband is a Cougar, and my oldest son is a Cougar. We're Cougars. After that, so not a lot of people know this part, George. I went away to school, but I got pregnant my sophomore year. And so I came back where my support system is, and my family, and I had my oldest son, EJ, who actually just started at SU. Keep going? Want me to keep going?
Oh yeah, I want to get through law school. So let's go. So you came back home now, but I think this is a really important piece, right? You said, you got pregnant sophomore year at school. What school were you at? Where were you in school?
I was at Hobart and William Smith, which is about 45 minutes away.
All right, so now that's sophomore year. So you didn't finish your sophomore year, or did you?
I came, so my path has been non-traditional. I came home, and I will tell you, a lot of people told me I couldn't do it. I started to apply to the local schools, and even the advisors would tell me, someone with a baby can't do this. And one thing about me is if you tell me that I can't do something, it just motivates me. I ended up attending Lemoyne, and it took me a little longer because I ended up going part-time. Once my son was born, and his father, now my husband, very much involved. I had help, but I wanted to be present. So school took a little longer. I graduated from Lemoyne in 2010, and then I worked because you need to make some money. I worked at a local law firm, and I started to realize that the work that I was doing, I could be the attorney doing that. I'm very proud of the legal secretary work I did, and their paralegals and the assistants, they're invaluable, believe me. But I wanted to do something else. So I applied at SU Law School. And I successfully graduated in the 3 years like you're supposed to, but because I never make things easy, not only did my husband and I, so EJ, my son, we got married the weekend before law school started. And then by my 3rd year, which is the final year in law school, I got pregnant with twins. So my twin boys were born right around graduation time, and I had to study for the bar exam with 2 newborns. And so it's no secret, it's all over my social media. The first time that I took the bar exam, I actually failed by 1 question, because back then each question was 10 points. So when I got my score, I was so crushed. But me being me, I was like, I'm gonna do it again. So the second time I passed with flying colors, and I immediately started working in the courtroom. You said stop at law school. I'll
No,
stop
no,
at
no, no, no. I'm not saying stop at law school, but I'm interested. How long before you took the bar when you passed the second time?
the bar exam in New York is offered 2 times a year. The first one you usually take right after you graduate, and that's in July.
Mhm.
So I took the July, I did not pass it. The next available was January. So I studied like crazy
With twins.
with twins. So by that point, we had the three. So
Three kids.
we
Now,
had
what are the ages of the kids while you're doing this?
okay. Wow. EJ Taylor, who most people know EJ because I would bring him with me to classes throughout this whole process. EJ was probably 7, or he was 8 when the twins were born. And it's all getting to be a blur, to be honest with you, George, because by this point we have 4. We're blessed. We are blessed. And I cannot stress enough that I couldn't have gone through that without my tribe. That is for sure.
So you took the bar in
Mhm.
January of the next year. You passed, and
Yes.
you immediately went to work. And so, where'd you work?
I started at New Justice Mediation Services, which is still a local organization. I'm a very big believer in mediation and alternative dispute, which basically means settling disputes outside of court. If at all possible, people can get together and figure it out without a judge having to tell you. I support that. So I did that in family court. I had an office actually right in the Onondaga County Family Court. I did custody and visitation mediation for about 1.5 years. They were great. They knew I was studying for the bar exam. So then when I passed, they knew that eventually I wanted to practice. I wanted to be in the courtroom. And so from New Justice, I went to the district attorney's office, which is where I spent the bulk of my legal career.
And what was your job? What kind of cases did you prosecute in the DA's office?
So initially, the way the local office works, you all start at the misdemeanor level, which is that's where I'm actually trying to go back home to be a city court judge. And I did that for 8 months, I think, and I got promoted to the felony bureau, special victims. I asked for that bureau in my interview. I knew that I wanted to advocate for vulnerable populations, the elderly, children, and particularly women. So I worked in the Special Victims Bureau doing felony cases and homicides up until my last year at the DA's office. I was there for almost 7 years. My last year at the DA's office, I was promoted to be it's called the Municipal Courts Bureau Chief, but what that means is you coordinate all of the city court judges. So as you know, George, you've had some on your show. There are 10 city court judges. Each judge has an assigned assistant district attorney, and so I was in charge of managing them and also mentoring them. We'll talk about this, but there's a certain atmosphere and level of respect and dignity that I think belongs in the courtroom. So when it was my position to mentor these new ADAs, I was trying to teach them and show them by example how that should be and how you should assess cases fairly to all parties involved.
So this is not a question about you being a judge, because we didn't get there yet.
Mhm.
Now you're in the DA's office. So let's talk about that. How
Yep.
difficult is it to see the kinds of, young Black men coming through? I mean, I know that's what I'm interested in. So
Mhm.
how difficult is that? And yet you do have to bring justice for the people.
You do. What I want everyone to understand is that, and I'm gonna talk local issues.
Yeah.
In domestic violence, most of my cases, it was interracial. So if I had a Black defendant in a domestic violence case, I also had a Black victim. And
Right.
so I have to, all prosecutors, what you're supposed to do is do the right thing and weigh the interest of everybody. And
Yeah.
then also, I know domestic violence work. Reunification of families is often the goal. I mean,
Right.
not every time in those cases were they trying to leave. Now, back to my first year as an ADA, I came home and cried a lot because most of the the defendants coming through were men of color. And when I looked around that courtroom, other than myself, we have a diverse bench here in Syracuse, but the room, the demographics of the court system does not represent the people that we serve. And so I'm a very vocal person when it comes to my career and doing the best that I can. I told DA Fitzpatrick, I'm not comfortable being in the Narcotics Bureau. I grew up here. I don't always agree. I know I'm not going to get into issues or policy, but I don't always agree with sentencing laws. And so it is okay to advocate for yourself professionally and say, I would make a better impact over here. But it was hard. The short answer to your question, George, is it was very difficult because it was not lost on me that it's disproportionate. It just is.
So now Staci, mom of 4, wife, and now the new challenge, right? You want to become you're running to become the next city court judge. And I put all that together because that's part of your identity, not for any other reason than that. And so why do you want to be a judge?
I want to be a judge because the very first day, I was so scared. The first day I went down to court, I was assigned to Judge Kate Rosenthal, who has since retired. And I also had Judge Bogans. She had a calendar. They have youth part now, which is where young people who are charged with felonies go. But at the time, Judge Bogan was in charge of a court where if a young person was charged with a felony, all of them were on one calendar. And I remember going before her and seeing how she treated every single person in the courtroom. So when I saw those 2 women using their law degree in such a manner, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And anything that I learned from there, I'm going to bring it with me to the bench. The benefit to the people of Syracuse with me being a city court judge is I have trial experience. I know what the burdens of proof are. I know the rules of evidence, and that's important. A lot of people, especially in city court, are either representing themselves, let's say it's a traffic ticket, or it's one of the most traumatic experiences in their life. And you need to be patient with individuals and explain to them the process and what's going on. And I know that I'll do that. Most of my cases didn't make the paper. I didn't do a lot of high profile cases, but I know how I interacted with the witnesses and the people that I worked with, and they know that. And so I know that anybody that comes into my court is going to get that same compassion and respect and fairness.
Can I go back to being a DA and having to prosecute? Do you ever think about your own personal safety? Because you've got to confront people who are accused of doing bad things, or do you just block all of that out and you know that you have to work for the people?
You can't live in fear. So I had to become very aware. There were times when others recognized me that I didn't remember having appeared on the case. And you know, when you're in court, sometimes you appear on other people's cases. They just know they saw you in court and you were saying that thing, or you requested that amount of bail, and they don't like you. So, I mean, there's a level of being aware, but this is my community. So I was not afraid. Also, because of the work that I was doing, I was proud of it. So to me, justice can take a lot of forms, and any sentence that I recommended or that ended up either by jury or by the judge being set, I believed in what I was saying, and I never once prosecuted someone that didn't deserve it. So no, I wasn't afraid. I was just aware.
And I asked that, and not particularly you. I'm just thinking anyone whose job it is to get up in people's face and say this and this and that. I'm thinking, but maybe I have the image of what happens on TV, right? But you know what I mean? I know that in actual court, it's more procedural and it's not as dramatic. But I just wondered about that. Oh, you said sometimes, right?
Sometimes. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I want you to go ahead say more about that.
What I would love to see is more of the ADAs coming into the community, so that the first time that you're seeing them is not in the courtroom. Because I think that a lot of people have that perception, or there's an idea that the prosecutor is just out to get you. But but that's not necessarily true. And I've not met every single one, but there are programs that we had to participate in as part of our job, but we did them because we wanted to, like going to Fowler at PSLA at Fowler. You know what I mean? We'll go and talk to the kids. A lot of civic education going on. I would like to see that, especially because if we're going to be creative about the sentencing options, the agencies that will help us get it done are out here in the community. But if we're not all connecting, the court users, the litigants, the defendants, and their families are the ones that's losing out. So I would love to be, hopefully, some kind of a bridge between the two communities. I didn't mention it, but I did defense work. Well, not criminal defense. I did family court work and divorces for about 1.5 years in between the DA's office and what I do right now. And so that will also plug for me. That's also going to make me a more fair judge because I know what it's like to also defend someone and not prosecute. So I would like to bring all these communities together so that we can actually holistically help people and hopefully not have them repeat. I'm sorry, that's the alarm for my children.
Well, listen, we know you got to do what you got to do. All right. So, Staci, anything else you want to say about running for city court judge in the city of Syracuse, aside from people knowing that November 5th is election day in the city of Syracuse? Yes. Anything else you want to say? Because I know that alarm went off, so I know you got to do what you got to do.
What I would like to say is that I truly am an open book, and if you follow my page, and George, I will send you my social media so that we can share it with everyone. I'm going to be doing videos about why it's important to vote, what the judgeship even looks like, what kind of cases I'll be hearing. I think it's very important to educate ourselves and to share the knowledge that we learn. So if anybody would like me to come and speak to your group, or if you ever want me for coffee, just reach out. I'm very open to it. And I know that I'm going to bring fairness and civility and a breath of fresh air to an already wonderful bench. I've been in front of the judges that we have, and I'm ready to get started.
And you'll be in family court?
No, city court.
City court. You did say city court. I'm thinking, because wasn't Judge Bogan, she was in family court? No, city court?
She has appeared in both. She puts on many different hats. She's an active family court.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes. And I remember when she first ran as well. And didn't she come from the DA's office as well?
No.
No, she never did. Okay. Oh, she ran. Did she run for DA or something? I think that's what it was. I think she might have. I'll have to talk to her.
Judge Bogan gave me a lot of pep talks to convince me to even do this, because I really am a behind the scenes type person, but God and Judge Bogan and my other mentors, I'm glad that they convinced me to do it this time.
All right. Audience, heard you say my alarm went off, so let me let you go so you can take care of what you got to take care of.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Staci Dennis-Taylor, candidate for City Court Judge here on Inspiration for the Nation. Thank you so much, Staci.
Thank you, George.